Hi, welcome, Grand Rising. Welcome to Viada's Tiny House Visit. All right, we are ready to celebrate another day, October 25th. And then on the 13 moon calendar, we're in a whole different cycle. This is a 7 for the Gregorian calendar, but we're rotating on a different number in the 13 moon calendar. But let's celebrate Blog Talk Radio. Yay! The Blog Talk Radio is up and running. So let's welcome our Female Solution Global family.
Blog Talk Radio. Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, Executive Producer of the Female Solution Radio Show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Zdravstuyte. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network called 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you.
Yes. And we want you to talk to us. We in the Blog Talk Radio studio. I'm also on YouTube, live and Facebook live. So we want to hear from you, especially about today's topic. This has been an ongoing topic for the last several months, reproductive rights. And I heard this really great discussion from some very intelligent Americans that I'm going to play for you. But most important, we got to talk about the history of this topic, reproductive rights, because people have amnesia when it comes to certain topics. And before, as we get ready to breathe and stretch, I want you to think about this one thing. You cannot lose your reproductive rights. We've been told this lie by certain groups, certain people, that you're going to lose your reproductive rights if so and so happens. You can't lose them. I'm just telling you, you cannot lose them. But guess what? You can lose your mind. And that's what I am seeing happening throughout the country, is that people are on these platforms speaking in a mic saying, you're going to lose your reproductive rights. You're going to lose them. You can't lose your reproductive rights. So that's what I'm here to remind you of today, with history and some education about who you really are. You can't lose your reproductive rights, but you can lose your mind. And that's what a lot of people have done. They've lost their sovereign mind. They've lost the mind that was given to them in their mother's womb, and that was intended to help you live a prosperous, joyful, peaceful life. And we lose our minds by listening to too much propaganda, too many lies from the political people. And then we think we're lost and can't do anything. We have no power. Stop it. Stop it. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to lose that craziness about you're going to lose you can't lose your reproductive rights. I'm telling you. So that's what we're going to talk about. And I want to hear from you, because it's an important topic that puts men and women in a new consciousness if they choose. If they choose. We all can choose to be in a higher consciousness instead of the lower, we're going to take everything from you, blah, 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 blah. No, we got to stop this nonsense, okay? So let's do, first of all, give some oxygen to this amazing biological computer that has a brain that we serve. Some people forget they have a brain that functions perfectly. Just breathe in some oxygen to the brain, the body that it loves, and exhale. Inhale, be inspired by this biological computer. This body will inspire you to know you cannot lose your reproductive rights. Once you are breathing in and out, inhaling, inspiration, and exhale, expire. Get rid of the toxic messages that you've been listening to. In fact, I'm starting to see or hear or think that people who think they can lose their reproductive rights are not breathing. So let's breathe. Come on, people, women and men. It's a joint thing to know you cannot lose your reproductive right. That goes for men and women. I'm good. This is a strong message I have to bring today, because I'm just tired of the propaganda and the lies about it. Yeah, you're gonna lose. The government's gonna take away. No, stop it. Stop. We got to get out of this powerlessness if we're going to get into the new earth of peace and joy. All right. Breathe in, and out. Let's get some, after we're awake now. Okay, breathe it out, exhale first. Okay, I have a caller says exhale first. Breathe it out, get all that garbage out. Now breathe in, new life. Exhale, get it out, mouth or nose. Get it out, exhale it out. Now breathe in, and be inspired. Get rid of the toxins, get rid of the propaganda, get rid of the lies. Breathe it out. Hoo, 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 hoo. Had enough. Now breathe in the truth of who you are. You are an amazing, magnificent, sovereign being, soul in a vessel. We are souls journeying in this vessel of clay, empowering us Push it out, push it out. When you push it out, it comes naturally, they're telling me. So just whatever you do, be conscious that the power is in your breath, it's in your heart, it's in your lungs. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Hallelujah. Thank you, my caller. Someone texting me. All right. Are you ready to start your joint rolling? And let's not forget, while you're joint rolling, you want to be doing your breathing. Don't stop breathing just because you're rolling joints. We still roll joints as we talk about time for healing. That's what this morning session is focusing on your healing by, first of all, breathing in consciously and out, breathing in and out consciously, and then rolling, moving the body. I was doing some stretching, some new stretches last night because when you're stretching, oh, okay, somebody sent me a friend request. That's weird. When you're stretching, you're expanding your spinal cord energy and you might get a better sleep. I do. I think I do. When I do my full stretches, the congestion, the blockages open up. And so we want to encourage you to do more stretching. And I might do a few stretches this morning just to demonstrate how you can sleep better and move better when you do more conscious stretching, 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 especially for the spine, because you've got nerves going through the spinal cord, connecting, communicating with the rest of your kingdom inside. And when you're in this position all day, looking at your tablet or your phone, then your nerves are not going to be as healthy, and then the communication is going to be affected. So let's put on a little music and start with rolling this big head around so we can stretch our neck muscles, okay? All right, hit chin to chest, and let's slowly, slowly roll around and breathe in and out. In and out, rolling the head around, stretching these muscles, even strengthening these muscles. When you're moving in this way, you're stretching and strengthening. And what do we say? The three primary improvements we're making when we're stretching and moving is improve circulation, improve immune system, and improve lymphatic system, which drains all the stuff you're trying to get rid of. It drains gets rid of the parasites, gets rid of the pollutions that you breathe in. That lymphatic system is so important. So let's roll our shoulders back slowly. Now again, if you feel pain, what do? Stop. If you feel pain, you stop. Touch that area where you have pain. Breathe into it. Give it a little massage. I love you, wherever it is. And we're rolling back. And then let's roll forward. And just breathe into that pain more. Deeper breathing, right, when you have pain. All right, let's go swimming in the sea. When we do this, we're exercising our back muscles more. This is giving your shoulders a big boost. But when you're swimming in the sea of energy, you're getting a lot of strength to the back muscles. So we want to loosen up all these muscles before we sit down and learn about the history of the rights you never lost, right? You never lost any rights. Let's get busy. Let's build some truth today. Men and women, you don't lose your reproductive rights, but you can lose your mind. And that's the work that's been doing. Backstroke. That's the work that the leaders in our country have been doing, trying to make you lose your mind by promoting propaganda and lies about your body and who you are. And we're going to Get rid of some of the lies, get rid of some of that thinking today, and put all of us in a higher mind. Higher mind. We want to get to a higher mind today. We don't lose any reproductive rights. In fact, we gain consciousness today. And that is more powerful than anything. And of course, we're going to talk about obesity because Dr. Sunil Dahan, he has a powerful video that's out it was out like 12 minutes ago. So I got to share that, what he says about obesity, that we all need to be aware of, whether you're obese or not. We need to be consciously aware, again, of how the corporations and leaders bamboozle you into thinking something that's not true in the light of cosmic order. Okay. All right. Are we ready to get on our back and kick our legs up? If you have been in bed, that's okay. You can stay in bed when you do these exercises. In fact, I encourage you not to even get out of bed. When you before you get out of bed, kick your legs up and start rolling. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Breathing. This is how we start our day. In bed, we kick our leg, kick the covers off, and roll, roll, roll. And let's reverse that. Reverse that, reverse that. We got to have healing. The world's filled with hate, but love is secure. We're going to love ourselves today. That's what we do. Let's rub our hands together, massage our legs, and roll the lower leg around to loosen up the knees, strengthen the knees, and get more circulation in the knee area. And let's reverse it. You don't have to do these for long, but you do need to do them because you're sending a love message to your body. All right. Now let's put our feet on the floor, raise those arms, and roll the elbows around. No, rolling the lower arm around so we get our elbows, muscles strengthened, and blood circulation to that area. Reverse. Reverse, reverse. All right, let's get over on our side. And for those of you who are new, this is my living room, and kitchen is right over here. Bedroom's over there. And that's why you see me in this space, small space here, rolling around the legs to, what are we doing? We're bringing more blood to the hip area. And we're also strengthening the hip area. Reverse, let's reverse that. Healing, healing going on when we do this because you're loving your body. When you move your body, it's meant to be moved. You're loving your body. All right, let's flip over to the other side. And let's get the other hip motivated, energized, lubricated. We're lubricating all our joints this morning. Yay. And let's reverse that. Yay. All right. Now, again, if you are not able to roll your leg around and roll your joints around, there is something you can do instead. You want to just lift one leg at a time. That's for your hips. You lift one leg at a time. Again, if you're still in bed, that's okay. One leg at a time. That's going to send blood to this area. It also helps with constipation because you're stimulating your colon. Now, when it comes to lubricating your knees and the rest of your body, you just bend and flex. Bend and flex. Bend and flex. Same with the arms. Bend and flex. Just move. Just move. Just move. All right? So you can do this. It's not that hard. Now, I want to just show you when you stretch your body You get a lot more relaxation, especially at night. And here's a simple stretches. Just bend the knee, one knee to the chest, and stretch out the other leg straight. And if you can hold this for about 20 to 40 seconds, you're going to get so much relief in your lower back and in this area in general. Do this at night before you go to bed. Each leg, like do each leg about 4 times and hold it for 20 to 40 seconds. That's the chiropractor's recommendation. And you're going to see a big difference. And if you can, put your legs up against a wall every night, just like this. Like either they're up against a wall or just hold, if you can, hold the legs straight up. Hold it for about 20 to 40 seconds. Breathing in, just put some nice music on and just relax in this position. And you're loosening up again. You're getting the pressure off the hip area so that blood can flow and things can move. That's just 2 stretches that are very, very effective. And one more, this is called baby pose. If you can do this, it's called baby pose. This gives you more stretch in your gluteus and your back when you do this baby pose, holding your feet. See if I can make sure you can see me. Holding your feet like this and legs apart. You can rock side to side. One of the best stretches in the world to get your body relaxed and ready for bed. All right, let's just hug both knees. This is another one. Stretch, stretch, stretch is a very, very important part of your health plan. Taking charge of your health. Stretching, stretching, and this is a good stretch for the back and the glutes and the legs. Breathe in, breathe in. Breathe out. Let's roll over to one side and push up. And we are back. All right. How about that? How is everybody feeling? Hope you're feeling good this morning. Let's warm up the hands so we can go to the back of the neck where our vagus nerve is waiting for some attention. Warm up the hands, place those hands in the back and squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Feels so good. You can feel it all the way down your legs if you're doing it right. Squeezing and release. You should feel a tingling in your legs because that's how powerful and how far reaching this nerve is. The vagus nerve. It goes all over your body. And then just let's do some lymphatic work right above this collarbone is a very important area for your lymphatic glands to get unclogged and healthy. Just stretch, massage in this area right above the collarbone. Pull it down, massage in this area here. Move it along. And let's just pat down our arms because the skin needs to be stimulated. Another lymphatic area under the arms. Pat and massage that area. Let's pat down the arms. Massage underneath. Keep it going. Thymus gland, good for immune system boosting here. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Around the breast. Always give the breast area some. This is actually, and again, this is breast awareness, breast C awareness month. But I like to say breast health awareness month. Means you got to touch your breast, love your breast, talk to your breast. Thank you, breast, for being a nurturing, powerful, giving element of your who you are. And then let's not forget around the navel. Tap, tap, tap around the navel. And then the back of the body is your adrenal glands and your kidneys back here. They do so much work. Oh my goodness. Especially when you're stressed. This area is working overtime when you're stressed. Kidneys getting rid of the stress, and the adrenal glands pumping out hormones like cortisol to help you on this amazing journey. All right. So we have done a good workout. I think I feel better. I don't know about you. I feel much better. So we're going to go to a commercial break, and I'm going to go to my studio over there. And then we're going to start with some history. We gotta talk about history because that's how we've all been bamboozled today with this reproductive rights BS. Again, if you missed the beginning of the show, I proclaim today you cannot lose your reproductive rights, but you can lose your mind. And that's what has happened in our country and maybe the world. People have lost their mind about reproductive rights, and they're listening to the propaganders and the politicians who think this is going to get them elected to talk about you can't lose your reproductive right, blah 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 blah. So let's go to a commercial break and come back with uh, wisdom, some wisdom and history that will help us get our minds back. Ooh, that's the whole purpose of studying history, so we keep our righteous mind and we keep flowing with raising our consciousness. So we'll be right back after this message.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating, empowering, interactive conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Gathering of the Griots with Asada. Wednesdays, Repairing Family Relationships with Naima and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Veggie Brunch Live with Angela. Fridays, Health and Well-Being with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Global Talks with Zana. Second Saturday, Walk in Your Divine Authority with Mama Joy. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. Fourth Saturday, be a judge on the virtual Teens, Tweens, and Tots Talent Contest. And fifth Saturday, join us on location as we conversate at the Elevate Cafe, owner Jackie Brooks. Sundays, join us 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Go to thefemalesolution.com to join us on our video or audio live streaming platforms. Listen at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. Call in on the Blog Talk Radio Network 515-605-9325 or call in and comment on the On-Air Radio Network 727-731-5192. We want to hear from you.
All right, we are back. And we want to bring on my first guest, who is this lovely woman from the 700 Club. It's a video about racism, eugenics, and more about Planned Parenthood, because that's really what's behind the propaganda and the promotion and the talk about you're going to lose your reproductive. You can't let the government take away your reproductive rights. Blah, 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 blah. I'm so sick of hearing this message. So that's why we're here today, to bring some truth and embrace your consciousness. You can't lose your reproductive rights. Stop listening to people telling you that. They're just trying to get you to Planned Parenthood. And you know, one of the biggest arguments at Planned Parenthood is or about Planned Parenthood. Oh, well, they have so many other wonderful services. They do blood tests. They do this. They do that. They do this. They do other things other than kill your babies. Yeah. And how you think they're making their money? We're going to get real today because I'm just tired of hearing all the propaganda, lies, and the brainwashing that you're going to lose something that you can't lose. You can't lose. When you were in your mother's womb, you had so many chromosomes that says it's a girl. And even the boys have certain parts that go with the girls that make babies. So when people are trying to tell you, you're going to lose the government's going to take away your reproductive rights, that's BS, pure BS. So that's why we're going to listen to a little history first, because we forgot. People are amnesia today. This woman is going to break it down for us. What was the intention of Planned Parenthood? Who started it? What was the energy involved in putting this corporation together? Because it hasn't changed much. It's just shifted into a chameleon. That's a new word. Huh. A chameleon of sorts to get you in there and spending your money and making money and all the other things that this woman is going to reveal to you who have forgotten what Planned Parenthood is really about. Let's get it real and stop the lies about you losing something. No, they want you to gain more access to killing babies. And when you hear some of the statistics, maybe you'll wake up. So let's listen to this beautiful woman talk about racism, eugenics, and hatred that was always behind Planned Parenthood and still is. They're just covering up with more advertising and lovely little sayings. So here we go.
The American Birth Control League, which later became Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger was no doubt a controversial figure with disturbing views on eugenics, race, and population control. While some argue she even wanted to exterminate the Black race, others are trying to erase that part of her past.
The Mike Wallace Interview.
In the eyes of some, Margaret Sanger has been a heroine. In the eyes of others, she's been a destructive force.
In her own words, Sanger pushed for a society that limited births to those she deemed fit to have children.
I think the greatest sin in the world is bringing children into the world that have disease from their parents, that have no chance in the world to be a human being, practically. Delinquents, prisoners, all sorts of things just marked when they're born.
In 1916, Sanger opened the country's first birth control clinic. As a member of the American Eugenics Society, she advocated improving the genetic composition of humans through controlled reproduction of different races and classes. She often wrote about the issue in the journal she founded, called the Birth Control Review. In 1919, writing,
I personally believe in the sterilization of the feeble-minded, the insane, and the syphilitic. The most urgent problem today is how to limit and discourage the over-fertility of the mentally and physically defective.
Many point to a 1923 New York Times interview as proof of Sanger's racist motives, in which she referred to people as weeds, saying,
It means the release and cultivation of the better racial elements in our society and the gradual suppression, elimination, and eventual extirpation of defective stocks, those human weeds which threaten the blooming of the finest flowers of American civilization.
Hayden Ludwig, an investigative researcher, has extensively studied Sanger's life and writings.
She talked about the need for race betterment through controlling these weeds, basically undesirable people.
In 1939, after opening another clinic in Harlem, the birth control activist launched the Negro Project, an initiative supported by Black leaders, such as civil rights activist W.E.B. Du Bois. Critics claim the program used the pretense of better health and family planning for poor Blacks in the South as an attempt to limit the Black race. Ludwig says some on the left grapple with Sanger's past and how to interpret her legacy.
They know when she writes about human weeds, they know that it's repulsive. They know it's disgusting. The left will never abandon Margaret Sanger because if they do, she's the foundation of so many of their views.
Sanger once shared her vision for a preferred race at a women's branch of the Ku Klux Klan, writing in her autobiography,
Always, to me, any aroused group was a good group.
Despite those views, liberals praise Sanger's work while ignoring her history.
I admire Margaret Sanger enormously. Her courage, her tenacity, her vision. I am really in awe of her.
Ryan Baumberger, founder of the Radiance Foundation, says abortion proponents are working to clean up Sanger's past and what she stood for.
They have to reinvent her every time they talk about her in order to justify their celebration of her.
Former Planned Parenthood Director Abby Johnson says those inside the abortion industry are trained to overlook Sanger's racist views.
They give you an answer like, well, I mean, yes, Margaret Sanger was a racist, but everybody was a racist back then. You accept it because she is your hero. And she has to be your hero. You cannot question Planned Parenthood.
In 1997, Stephen Mosher of the Population Research Institute wrote about the push to repackage Margaret Sanger in the Wall Street Journal.
The reason I call it the repackaging of Margaret Sanger is because after the Nazi regime destroyed the legitimacy of eugenics forever, they then went back and said, oh, she was just an early feminist. She was just an early supporter of family planning. No, she wasn't. No, she was a supporter of giving IQ tests to people. She was in favor of using those IQ tests to determine who should be sterilized and who should have children.
In a response titled The Demonization of Margaret Sanger, Alexander Sanger, her grandson and president of Planned Parenthood at the time, called Mosher's editorial unfair. In the same piece, Esther Katz, director of NYU's Margaret Sanger Papers Project, claimed evidence revealing Sanger did not rationalize her support for birth control on racist grounds, that she never advocated genocidal policies aimed at racial, ethnic, or religious groups, and that she, in fact, believed access to birth control would benefit, not eliminate minority populations. Dr. Katz turned down our request for an interview, although in this article, the editor as public authority interpreting Margaret Sanger, she wrote, by our current highly sensitized standards, some of her attitudes and statements can be construed as racist, elitist, ethnocentric, and not politically correct. In 1942, Margaret Sanger's American Birth Control League became Planned Parenthood, which has moved to fulfill its founders' goals, helped greatly by the Supreme Court decision in Roe v. Wade.
Under the veil of secrecy and deception, 60 plus million babies have not been born because they were aborted legally since 73. 1/3 of that population belong to the African American community.
A frightening and telling number, given Blacks make up only 13% of the U.S. population. Dan Gaynor of the Media Research Center says that Sanger's true mission remains alive and well throughout today's abortion industry.
Look at the maps. See where the abortion facilities are. They are near places where people are marginalized, people are poor, people are minority, and that's their target market.
Generation after generation,
we have built a better world for our daughters.
Because of allies in the media and academia, Gaynor also points out how speech from conservatives and others about Sanger's past, Planned Parenthood practices, and abortion is often classified as hate speech.
There is nothing as close to a sacrament in the media as abortion. It is a holy writ that abortion is protected. And anybody who comes out against it, any organization, any business, anybody, the media swarm.
So does social media.
Facebook's new oversight board, and this is really concerning, has 4 co-chairs. And they're going to be the appeals board for content. Well, one of the 4 oversight board is on the board of an pro-abortion group. There's no pro-lifers. They're not there.
The problem also exists on many college campuses.
I remember at Harvard, they laughed when I was talking about the history of eugenics. And they said, that doesn't matter. Planned Parenthood is not like it was during Margaret Sanger's days.
Those who oppose her views say not true and are committed to exposing her past for future generations. Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Well, keep in mind, this is a serious...
All right. There you have it. Just a little history about this. You're going to lose your reproductive rights. So take a deep breath. Let's get into the truth of the matter in 2024. Remember now, part of the history that we just watched was about controlling the reproduction of certain classes of people. Let's see, who are those classes of people that they would want to control? Who would want to control the reproduction? Why would they want to control well, one of the statistics, as you may have heard in that piece, was 40%, and this is going to come out again, 40% of abortions in the United States over the past 50 years, whatever, were performed on women of dark skin. 40%. Even though, as you heard, they only make up 13% of the population. So what's that all about? Oh, I know. We're trying to help people not be weeds, and we're going to help people have more planned parenting skills and raise families at the right time and blah, 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 blah. The stats speak for themselves. I think that 13% of the population, which is made up of Blacks and maybe minorities, have had 40% of the abortions. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. The objective from the beginning was controlling the reproduction of certain classes of people. Now, in the last 10 years, Bill Gates has done a great job of that. He even has a speech on TEDx where he says, if we do a good job, we can control the population with, guess what? Put that medicine in the arm and we're going to control the population. That's what Bill Gates said. And by the way, his father, Bill Gates' father, was on the board of Planned Parenthood for some time. Very interesting history there. They don't talk a lot about it online, but Bill Gates Sr. was on the board of Planned Parenthood. Bill Gates Jr. believes that we can control the population, again, control reproduction of certain classes of people. Let's go to Africa. Let's start there. We need to control that population, right? And then let's go, as they said, in certain communities and offer reproductive rights for everyone. Yay! Let's do it. Put a Planned Parenthood in all the good neighborhoods where we can control reproductive rights. So how many of you actually are familiar with this history? Because when the vice president of a government goes around visiting Planned Parenthood, I get a little suspicious knowing the history of this company, corporation, Planned Parenthood. The first VP in history that's visiting Planned Parenthood. What's the connection there? I'm suspecting some money is involved, investment, whatever. You draw your own conclusions. But this is why we all need to be very conscious of who we elect and who we don't elect and who stay home or whatever. We just need to be aware that it's time to raise our consciousness because people have lost their minds about this issue. Again, I'm going to keep repeating this. You cannot lose your reproductive rights. The government can't take that away, but you can lose your mind. So let's go to a conversation I heard from some very intelligent people the other day about this issue. And this will show you not only the division that we have going on in the country, but the levels of understanding about this topic that we have lost our minds, okay? Because people are discussing things on a level that you forgot who you are. And then there was one person in this conversation, I have to say, a couple of people out of like 7 or 8, I remember, you're going to see, who actually have their minds. They're conscious about what the real issue is. So I'm going to give you, it's a YouTube channel that I came across, and I became a subscriber actually because I like this guy's thinking and the topics he brings. And let's see, let's get it in. Black women, it's titled Black Women Leading in Reproductive Right Deletions. That's how it goes. And I'm not the whole thing. In fact, I'm going to start at a point where I really started getting more interested in the conversation. But you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 people on this panel discussing Black women leading in reproductive right deletions. Okay. So I'm going to play a little bit of it and I might pause it just to comment. But you got to hear intelligent people discussing this topic for what purpose? I think a lot of it is about who am I going to vote for, who's representing me and my community. And the one thing you have to ask, is it the truth, what they're saying about this topic, and so forth and so on, because there's just so much talking about it. And I want this community, this audience to be so aware of the conversation that we need to have in our country about this topic. And these people demonstrate that you're going to hear from intelligence, for one, sounds like a very intelligent group as I listen. And they bring up some really good points that either show their ignorance or their consciousness. So let's listen for a few minutes.
Storyline, but what do we do about the kid when the child is born? You have mad children in foster care, right? We're heavily overpopulated. We don't have enough foster parents for these kids. I'm not.
So the solution is abortion.
For abortions. I'm just telling you the talking points for both sides. That is something that really needs to have a sit down conversation that may take years for us to get to a meeting in the middle, but we're not.
This might be subjective, but I personally feel like y'all are taking up arms for your own personal genocide. That's how I feel. I feel as though y'all are literally marching for genocide, like ready to go to war for it too.
Okay, this brother is speaking sense, okay? But we don't hear this a lot, but he's saying, you Black people, especially, since you've already killed millions of your babies, 40% of us, the Black population, they got the highest rate of what they call reproductive right deletions in this video. So this brother is bringing out the truth that you all want to fight about your own genocide. Black people are now the minority of the minorities because we've been killing babies in big numbers.
Too, like, we need to be able to kill ourselves. Like,
so do you understand anything that I just said?
You've never seen a Jewish community be like, yo, we need abortion rights. You've never seen an Amish community make this an issue. Only Black people is sitting up here having this strong argument about killing children. It's the craziest shit I've ever heard in my life.
The majority of the country supports the woman's right to choose. The majority.
Does that make it right, though?
Okay, here comes the smart ass. I'm not smart ass. I'm sorry. Did I say that? Smack my lips. This young brother. Well, it's having the right to choose. We make up all these excuses for reducing the population as Margaret Sanger planned. Okay, but you should have the right to choose. This is the young brother. He's going to interject what the wise brother just brought out. You committing genocide on your own people. No, but we should have the right. He's been listening to too much CNN.
No, but
the majority of the population are lost.
Do Kamala go to Doug Emhoff's community and talk to them about abortion?
No.
You said no other community.
Do Kamala go to Doug Emhoff's Jewish community and talk to them about abortion?
I'm unaware of all the communities.
Absolutely not.
Okay,
Absolutely
wait. Hold on. You made a claim that you can't substantiate where you said that these conversations aren't happening in any other communities. Yet the majority of the country agrees with the woman's right to choose. So you're incorrect. That's all I'm saying.
Listen.
I debate about that. The majority of the country agrees with the woman's right to choose. No, we're divided on everything. I would say half of the country believes in pro-life and half might believe in the right to choose, pro-choice. We don't know the statistics on that, but there's a lot of voices out there screaming, I have a right to choose. I have reproductive rights. I don't want them taken away. Oh my.
I should ask you a very specific question.
And I told you I don't know. Sorry.
Have you seen a European Jewish community, her husband, Doug Emhoff, walking around fighting for the right to kill their children? Yes or no?
Do you protest at Parenthood?
Yes or no? It's just a yes or no question. Yes or no?
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Are any of y'all that don't believe in abortion foster parents?
Isn't it something?
Well, to your point, Jamisha, about that, my thing is that the problem, a big problem, I think that should be addressed in terms of, the people that have kids and they don't want them, instead of saying abortion, we should say, how can we make it more affordable for families to be able to adopt these children? Because that is the...
Now, this, again, a more conscious voice coming in. Instead of abortion, which we should now be teaching, it's 2024, she says, how can we make it easier for adoption? How can we teach more youth about prevention? Should be the conversation, not about the government's going to take away my reproductive rights.
Real cause of why there's a lot of people that would love to adopt, but it's $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to adopt. And you can say, oh, well, if you don't have, some people might say, oh, if you don't have that money, well, then you can't afford it. That's not true, though. You're talking about these kids being in foster care and all these different situations when a lot of them might be better off in working class families, having good education, having a good home system, a good family system, if they figured out a way to lower the cost for adoption, not figure out a way to abort the babies.
So you just did, hold on one second. What you just did is what we all need to do with the people that are elected need to be able to sit at the table and push around these viewpoints, because maybe they don't see what you just said. What you just said made a great point. What can we do with our tax dollars for the children that are out here, right? How can we allocate funding, or can we get with insurance to figure out how we can mitigate so many children that are in foster care and make it affordable, which sounds crazy, for these children to have good homes? Do we look at the qualifications? Do we make it stricter on, who you are, your background, type of job? Because then you don't want someone to get into foster care, get adopted, and then they can't maintain that child. What programs? I think that's a great idea, but people don't want to have those conversations. We need to learn how to reallocate money, and I think that is a great talking point and pain point that should be brought up. It should be brought up in Congress.
I still think it's an agenda against the black population, because it seemed like more black people is marching for this and fighting for this more than any other Democrat.
Well, more blacks do get abortions. More black women get abortions.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's why I asked the question. Like, I don't see no Jewish. Matter of fact, if Kamala showed up to a real Jewish community with that, they would be riding at dawn. They would not have that shit. They would be like, we are riding at dawn on your ass. Because only black people though gonna sit up and be like, yeah. Kill the children. Yeah.
I agree with you, Blackwell, but I just want to point out a fact that, in the healthcare industry, most doctors will talk about preventative care. Mm-hmm. Most doctors will talk about, how do you prevent getting diabetes? How do you prevent getting heart disease? And I don't think we focus on enough about prevention instead of after the fact. The whole conversation we're talking about after the fact. I don't think we as adults are taking responsibility for our sex. Women aren't taking responsibility for their bodies and their actions. We're not having conversations before we lay down with someone. To me, it just seems like people just want to have sex without the accountability and the responsibility of having a child if that happens. When you can actually talk about, when you can actually sit down and talk to your mate or whomever you're about to have sex with, this is what we agree to. We're consenting. So when you consent to having sex, yes, it's a possibility that you can get pregnant. So how do you prevent that? Take some birth control pills, use a condom. I mean, there are so many things that you can do to prevent, and a lot of us aren't preventing all these things. We're talking about after the fact. Abortion is after the fact. Our whole society is talking about after the fact, and we're not focusing on teaching our teenagers and our children how to prevent getting pregnant. We're not taking responsibilities and accountabilities as adults about our sex, about our sexuality. So we need to focus more on that, because after the fact is again, we're fighting for, I agree with Blackwell, we're fighting to kill ourselves. And a lot of people, when they talk about abortions, they want to bring up, the 1% of people who are raped or whatever the case might be. That is a small group of people. We're not talking about that. We're talking about most people. Most people who get abortions are just basically not, made a mistake and not taking accountability for the fact that they had sex. And I think we need to focus on that first.
1000%. I agree. Now that sister really said a lot, and I totally agree with her on, we are not focusing on prevention enough. This should be, in my opinion, a topic brought up in elementary school. We got all these brainies out there, all these intelligent people, teachers. Why can't we have a sex education class for elementary school students? That's where it needs to start. We can't wait till high school. They already been having sex and groping each other. It's time to have sex education in our schools at the prevention topic, and talking about it in a way that we respect our bodies. And as she said, emphasizing talking to the other person. That means men talking to women and exploring how we're going to have fun and pleasure without having children. What? 2024, we got apps, we got all kind of YouTube videos. It's time for us, especially in this community, to wake the F up and stop looking at abortion as a birth control. That's what's been happening. The community, the politicians, and the communities, health communities or sick care communities have been saying, oh, just take the pill after pill, and we don't have to prevent anything. These people having a great discussion. If you want to finish or continue this conversation, you go to YouTube and click on Black men, or type in Black women leading in reproductive right deletions. That's the topic. I'm going to end that there, because as you can see, they're having all these people having an intelligent discussion. Nobody's cursing each other out or yelling at people too much. But I thought this was a good discussion for what needs to be talked about in 2024. That we come out of this reactive mode and go into prevention and response mode. And as she said, responsibility, talking to your partner. No more of this wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. That has to go. And it's going to probably always be there in some communities. And as she said, people like to talk about the 1% of rapes and incest, and that's why we need abortions. It's a reality, but it's not a big percent, and it's no excuse to keep promoting reproductive rights and abortions. That's what it comes down to. We got some comments. I want to hear from you in the studio. Let's see, got any hands up? Right, press 1 in the Blog Talk studio if you want to talk. And we have some comments here from Facebook. Grand Zelda says, Grand Rising, beautiful queen of rolling the most important joints on the planet, higher consciousness at work. Yes, yes, yes. that to me is when I hear these politicians going on and on about the government's going to take away your rights, the government's going to take away your rights. Low consciousness, no consciousness at all. In fact, unconsciousness is what we're hearing when people stand up talking, screaming about the government's going to take. It's fear mongering and unconsciousness, because it doesn't make any sense that intelligent people, just like the ones we just heard from, can't sit down and come up with a better plan than Planned Parenthood is ready for you to give you whatever you need, blah, blah, blah. So our executive producer, Naima Latif, says, it's pretty horrifying to realize some people believe they have the power to choose who should live and who should reproduce. And that's exactly Margaret Sanger's mind. She wanted to control the reproduction of certain classes of people. And Bill Gates Jr. and Sr. have been working the plan afterwards. And now, if we speed up to the current day, who's working that Margaret Sanger plan? Bill Gates Jr. been doing a great job, because he says it, he admits it. We're going to do a good job of controlling the population in Africa, especially because he's been moving all throughout Africa. He's actually been indicted in the Netherlands for something he was doing to control the population. Anyway, let me continue. I digress. Naima again. But when we, the women, recognize and reclaim our power, yay, that's what we're doing. Reclaiming our power to choose who will father our children and when we will get pregnant, we can ignore these arrogant people who think they can control who gives birth. Ashe, ashe. I agree. Amen. And then she says, we can only have healthy sex education when we get rid of the unhealthy fear, shame, guilt, sin beliefs surrounding the sex act. That's a part of the brainstorming. Thank you, Naima, that we all need to do at the kitchen table. It starts at the kitchen table. We shouldn't be sitting in front of a TV eating our meals when the whole family. No, let's all of us be more conscious about going to a restaurant, inviting people over for dinner, to have these types of consciousness raising conversations at the kitchen table, as Mama AZ always says, kitchen table university. We need to go back to the kitchen table university. Certainly not these universities charging $50,000 a year for you to be brainwashed about Planned Parenthood, but kitchen table university, where we bring in consciousness about this human, powerful human body that has a brain, that can think, that can talk to a man or a woman that you want to be intimate with, and talk about, listen, before we get in the bedroom. In fact, here's some tips on dating. Adults, talking to the adults. You're dating, you find someone you like, they invite you out to dinner, and you are really attracted to this person. I strongly suggest you talk about sex. Don't hide it. Talk about sex and all its beauty and wonderful thing. And then talk about, do you want children? I want children. You want children? Do you think we want to do that now and have children and plant a seed for children? Let's have some adult conversations instead of, oh, you're so beautiful. Have another glass of wine and let's go dancing. And then next thing you know, you're half drunk and you're on the sofa pulling down underwear, and you ain't thinking about what day of the month it is. Because, okay, depending on the day of the month, if you're a woman who is in childbearing ages, you could have a baby with all that passion. We got to stop that nonsense. Let's wake up. This is a wake up call today for women and men to have conversations about, who do you want to be controlling your life? Planned Parenthood or you and your partner? That's where we got to take our minds back, because you lose your mind when you're not having conversations about your future with a man you're going to let enter your body and plant a seed. This is how it's so crazy that we have not developed this type of mature conversation and thinking. We lost our minds. It's no more drinking, getting half drunk, laying down with somebody, and you don't know what day of the month it is. You don't talk about whether you want to have babies, because we have used abortions as a birth control, and you started a life growing inside of you, and then it's a oopsie. Total ignorance. Oopsie is a total ignorance. We can't have that anymore. Many of us might have gone through that in our youth, but today, with all the money that's being made with Planned Parenthood, and we're talking birth stem cells, baby, they making tons of money. You just haven't seen the videos and the teachings. Tons of money off the cells of unborn or babies that didn't live long enough. Okay. So let's not be deceived, naive about who Planned Parenthood really is and all the money they're making, not just for their corporation, but anybody invested in that corporation is making a lot of money. That's why they're pushing reproductive right BS. You can't lose your reproductive rights, but you can lose your damn mind over listening to somebody tell you that all you have to do is go to Planned Parenthood and you won't lose your reproductive rights. We got to keep them going. Okay. So let's take a break. And when we come back, I want to talk about Dr. Sunil Dahan. Unless you have questions or comments, I'll take your comments. If you have any, let's see, back to blog. No comments, no hands raised. Okay. So when we come back, we want to talk about Dr. Sunil Dahan's recent video on obesity. Oh my goodness, I was not aware of this. So I hope you will be educated and become more aware of what's going on in the sick care system. And we say that sick care system has a new label for obesity. We are now not calling it a lifestyle problem, but it's a disease. So let's take a commercial break and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, executive producer of the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. We are a part of the online network of associated internet radio hosts, On Air. On Air empowers you with transformative news and interactive radio TV shows. This is such a wonderful time to be alive and to see our human family coming together as one community as a result of that powerful tool, the internet. We can now talk directly to each other all over the world. There's no need for conflict or misunderstanding. There's no need for violence to solve our differences. We can talk to each other face to face until we reach an agreement. On Air offers a fantastic global guide to communicators from all over the world who are using their internet platforms to inspire us to strive to be our best selves in order to become the kind, compassionate, loving people we were all born to be. Once we do that, we'll see planet Earth transformed into a place of peace. Subscribe to the recommended YouTube channels, Facebook pages, and podcasts created by these voices of enlightenment. On Air provides daily news briefs and a weekly magazine to keep you abreast of events and opportunities. On Air news affiliates in television, radio, and print share information, insight, and interviews with notable personalities. Go to onaireverywhere.com for a daily dose of uplifting news. We're on air everywhere, online all the time.
Do you want to live in a world without war? Join our global peace movement. Heavenly Culture World Peace Restoration of Light transcends culture, religion, ideology, and other boundaries to achieve peaceful harmony in the global society. HWPL is committed to bringing world peace and cessation of war through peaceful dialogue between religious groups. I am Director Shin-Suk Kim of the HWPL Chicago branch of North America. Join us for our next gathering. Call 773-580-1501 and be a part of the movement for world peace. Email us at chicagohwpl@gmail.com.
And one more message for us today.
Have you ever wondered why some of the healthiest people still get sick? Or why the occurrence of learning disabilities like ADHD have drastically increased over the last 50 years? How is it that the cancer rate has gone from 1 in 8,000 back in the 1910s to 1 in 2 today? Isn't it odd that even though we are more focused on health than ever before, that there's still been an increase in diseases, disorders, illnesses, and other conditions that destroy your quality of life? What if we told you that the very things you're using in your home to avoid these health concerns are actually what's causing them? If you're the decision maker in your home, you know how overwhelming it can be to keep your family safe. Today, we'd like to welcome you and simply provide you with some important information and shed some light on some health concerns you may not be aware of. Over the last 100 years, thousands of toxic chemicals have been introduced into society because of an excessive overstock of chemicals designed for warfare in the Second World War. Today, as the 2013 documentary The Human Experiment states, quote, 42 billion pounds of toxic chemicals enter into commerce every day. That amount would fill up 623,000 tanker trucks. And as we speak, there are over 80,000 such chemicals on the market in the US. Over the last half century, chemical usage has gone up by 2,000%. And it isn't until there are enough people hurt by these products that there are even questions raised. Does this sound familiar? On July 12, 2018, the well-known grocery store brand of talcum and baby powder company, Johnson & Johnson, was ordered to pay a $4.6 billion lawsuit. As it was said, they knowingly covered up asbestos in their product for over 40 years, and we have been trustingly using it on ourselves and our most precious of all things, our newborn babies. As parents, we work hard to keep our families safe and healthy. We diligently try to choose the best brands at the grocery store for our families. After all, keeping a clean home is an important part of good health. But is it possible that cleaning your home is dangerous? 7.3 million American couples have trouble conceiving or carrying a pregnancy to term. This is a 49% increase since 1988. Recent studies have shown that babies that do make it to term are being born pre-polluted, with up to 28 harmful chemicals in their blood, with indicators that over 400 more were present, all without ever eating food, drinking water, or even breathing air.
Now, that bit of information right there about babies being born unhealthy, and that's one of the reasons we need a very comprehensive sex education class that includes responsibility, partner relationships, talking, communicating, and educating the mother, the woman, about maintaining a healthy body if she does want to have children. So we've all can participate in helping these young women and men to change their minds, renew their minds, and not lose their mind, which is what this political conversation is about now. Lose your mind because the government's going to take away your rights. You lost your mind when you believe that bullshit. I'm sorry, did I say that? You've lost your mind when you believe that propaganda and lies, because the government cannot take away your reproductive rights. You were born with them. The only way they can take them away is if you give it to them and allow them to. It's not a right that can be taken away, but they've convinced women that that right can be taken away. You have the consciousness, you have the ability in your mind. If you get pregnant and you don't want that baby, You can have a miscarriage, a conscious miscarriage. And there's so much been written about that I have read. I'm like, wow, that's a new thought. You don't want if you do get pregnant, you have a meditative life, a prayer life, and you say, Creator, I don't really want this baby. That you didn't do the conversation before, you didn't plan the calendar and all that, but you get pregnant anyway, because that happened a lot. We know our grandmothers had the rhythm method going, and something happened, and here we are. We're all a result of some of that. But there's a consciousness that we need to teach our young people, that whatever you don't want, your mind has the ability to keep it away from you. And you have on the same way, you have the ability to attract what you don't want if your mind is not right. So we really need to have prayer back in the school, meditation, teach all that back in the schools to help our young people come out of this idea that the government can control you and take things away from you. We got to stop that nonsense. And that's the only way we're going to stop it, is we have consciousness raising classes in our home first, and then start having public schools. That's why I'm all for getting the government out of public schools. Man, out, because they haven't helped. They haven't helped to raise the consciousness of our communities and our society. The education that the government has put out has been total programming. You need abortions. You need to depend on the government. You can't be an entrepreneur. You got to go to college and get into all this debt. Look at all the miseducation, misinformation that we've been subjected to all of our lives. And now still going on with AI. We're going to have new misinformation, miseducation. So we can all in this community start educating our youth, talking to young people about renewing your mind, taking back your mind. Don't let anybody tell you the government can take away anything, because you're too powerful. You've lost the sense that you have a mind and power. So, okay, that's my rant. And let's get into Dr. Sunil Dahan, my favorite all-time conscious physician. It doesn't hold back anything. So he has a very powerful message about obesity and what's happening in the sick care community. Let's listen to Dr. Sunil give us some wisdom and truth for a change. No lies, no propaganda, just some truth about what the sick care.
Hello everyone, Dr. Sunil Dand, medical doctor. Welcome to another video. The evil of the current medical paradigm. I don't use that word lightly, but I do believe it is evil in terms of what it is doing and the type of message it is sending when it comes to the biggest health disaster the Western world is facing in adults and children alike. And I want to share with you a very recent article that sums this up. And I may get a bit heated here, because I am very passionate about this issue. So here we have a very recent article published in Medscape, which is one of the biggest medical publications. Doctors seek additional obesity training in wake of obesity patient boom. Well, I don't know about you, but when I hear things talked about in terms of a boom, that doesn't sound like medical terminology to me. That sounds like financial terminology and making a lot of money. Let's dive into the article. So here we have a doctor here, a professor of medicine, pediatrics and surgery, and the medical director of obesity medicine at a very large university in America, Vanderbilt University, Tennessee, where I'm sure they're seeing a lot of obesity. Obesity was already epidemic, but stigma and bias were still pervasive in the medical community and within the public. Yes, let's worry more about stigma and bias. Let's not talk about the actual problem and the fact that millions of people are getting very sick and dying early. Let's worry about stigma and bias. As long as people aren't offended, that's the major issue, right? Well, I've got news for you. Your cells, your mitochondria, your inflammation doesn't care about whether you're offended or not. It will make you sick if all of those bodily processes are not working correctly. Obesity medicine is exploding. Of course it is. Patients are spilling into doctors' offices looking for obesity treatment. Yes, of course, because these doctors are dishing out this treatment like candy, getting people on lifelong medications while not addressing the root cause issue. Healthcare systems are seeking out obesity specialists and building metabolic health centers. Since 2020, the number of doctors board certified by the American Board of Obesity Medicine has nearly doubled, and the number of obesity medicine fellowships across the country has more than doubled. Yes, these medical boards are making a lot of money now, but they do not deserve the term metabolic health. They are all about throwing pharmaceutical products and surgeries at people, not really lifting up people's metabolic health in the right way. The need to treat. It's no mystery that the rapid expansion of obesity medicine coincides with the US FDA's approval of GLP-1 injections. Of course it does. The FDA that gets the majority of its funding from drug companies, remember. Meanwhile, doctors are finally able to offer effective treatment for a disease that affects 40% of adults. And listen to this quote here from a doctor. "We are finally treating it as a chronic disease, not as a lifestyle," said one of the directors of the Obesity Medicine Fellowship at the Cleveland Clinic, one of the biggest medical facilities in America. You got that? Obesity is nothing to do with lifestyle. It's a chronic disease. How utterly disempowering and wrong. Obesity, most of the time, is totally a lifestyle issue. And when you take the one thing that is in most people's control, what they eat and how much they move, and you disempower them and make them think that the only way to do this is medication, which they need to be on for life because it's a chronic disease. It's abhorrent that this message is coming from leading medical institutions. This is what we are up against right now. I guess all the people that doctors like me work with who holistically lose weight and they never look back, they feel better because they've made the right dietary and lifestyle approaches. I guess we're only imagining that. It's a chronic disease. It can't be helped. Nothing to do with lifestyle. Oh my goodness me, this is an actual doctor speaking. Someone with a medical degree. For so long, the advice for obesity was about lifestyle. Move more, eat less, and harness willpower, which really is a fallacy. Your brain is operating differently. Your body really is set up to work against you. There you go, another quote from a doctor. Obesity, not about lifestyle, not about willpower. You can't do it. We'll disempower you to think any differently. All we have for you is pharmaceutical products. How utterly terrible that doctors who are leading this field have this particular message. So here is the medical director of Medscape Medical News, who says that with the advent of these medications, there's a clearer recognition that obesity is a disease that needs to be treated like other diseases. Doctors don't have to go looking for patients with obesity. Now that treatment options exist, they're showing up in droves at the doctor's office. Yes, a way to make more and more money. Droves of patients being disempowered and told that a lifetime of obesity. Remember, adults and young people, adolescents, being told that a lifetime of pills and injections awaits them. And the article then goes on to talk about how doctors are under-equipped when it comes to obesity. They're selling their training for doctors, which I'm sure is generating money somewhere. Information patients have been waiting for. Medical training has traditionally devoted minimal, if any, curriculum to obesity and metabolism. Getting trained in obesity medicine, the medical board here offers 2 board certifications to people to get trained, no doubt, in throwing pharmaceutical products at millions of people. Still not enough obesity specialists. That is the final paragraph here. So again, I want to stress that that is one of the major medical publications, and look at their paradigm. Look at the way they think. Their message on this issue, the biggest health disaster of our time, the metabolic health catastrophe. I mean, go outside anywhere, to a shopping mall, go into any shop, look around you, what's happened over the last 5 to 10 years especially. It is a disaster in adults and children. Children especially concern me when we have so many overweight and obese children. Think what is going to happen, how much that child is going to be behind, how many illnesses they are going to be at risk for in their 20s and 30s. And all the medical establishment is doing is thinking the answer is to throw more medicines and pharmaceutical products that all of these people will be on for life. In my opinion, the only obesity specialist that will really help most people is a health coach, somebody who can motivate them, who can educate them, maybe even a personal trainer as well. That is the only type of specialist that is really going to help millions of people improve their true health and well-being. Not a doctor with a fake additional qualification who will simply throw pharmaceutical products at people for life while they get sicker and sicker and develop more complications. And I leave you again with that quote, because our medical leadership in a variety of areas are complete clowns. We need a complete overhaul. When you place a clown on the throne, they don't become king. The entire kingdom becomes a circus. Thanks everyone for watching. Feel free to leave a comment down below. I enjoy hearing from all of you. Check out my website, my health programs, and my free news.
Oh, wow. We got to remember that when you place, what do you say, a clown on the throne, they don't become kingdoms, they become a circus. Oh, my goodness. I got to remember that one. That was a good one because we got a bunch of clowns in the Washington, D.C. I love to watch the meetings they have in Washington. Just a clown show. They ain't getting nothing done for the people, repeating the same. They've been interviewing Anthony Fauci over and over again. Nothing. He ain't in jail. He ought to be in jail. All those people they interview. It's a clown show. So what did we have on the throne? A clown. Biden was a clown. What did we start? I met a guy named Brandon the other day. And I said, "Ooh, did you get a lot of flack in the last 4 years?" And he smiled and said, "Yeah, people jabbed him about let's go, Brandon." If you remember, that was the call early in the Biden administration. People going, "Let's go, Brandon," which means F you, Biden. For years, we had memes going on. But Dr. Sunil, gotta love the guy. He's passionate, truthful. Now he says that obesity is not a chronic disease, but more a lifestyle. I'm of the opinion it's both. It's both. And here's why. Because in my 35 plus years of being in the holistic health community, and I wrote a book back in 2013 that I'm republishing because it's still relevant. And the relevancy of it is that emotions play a big part in whether someone's going to be obese or sick or well. And their traumas that they have not healed will keep driving them to comfort food like Coca-Cola and burgers and fries and all that. And as Dr. Sunil said, we need coaches like myself, and I'm not just trying to brag about that, but you need a lifestyle coach instead of going to an MD's office who's going to bring out the prescription pad. That's what they're doing. He said Ozempia, I think that's the name of the most recent drug that's being prescribed for people who are obese. And then they get skinny and end up in the hospital like Oprah because of problems, side effects. So here's one of the things as a counselor, a therapist, not a therapist, but a coach, a lifestyle coach. One of the things I've learned about when helping people get well is Ayurvedic medicine. You need to look at the individual and determine from Eastern philosophy, Ayurvedic, what type of body constitution, what type of body makeup are they? For instance, I am considered a Vata in Ayurvedic medicine. I have thin arms, thin legs, I have thin skin, and my nervous system is more sensitive to certain things. And when you study the Vata dosha, they call it, you recognize that Vatas are very unique, and what foods they eat can either put weight on them or cause them to lose weight. For instance, Vata, because of my cold nature, Vata has a more cold nature. They're uncomfortable in winter weather. So I'm in Florida. And they tend to need more clothes in the winter than the average Kapha dosha. So a Vata does not need a lot of green food, is what I learned. That green food will keep a Vata skinny, really, or thin, because green foods are detoxers, cleansers. They have a lot of minerals in them, your collards, your romaine, and all these foods are very nourishing, but green foods for a Vata will not put weight on them. Sorry, it's not happening. I went through that phase myself with a lot of salads, trying to eat salads and be healthy, but it didn't put any weight on me, okay? What put weight on me was nut butters, fat, butter, yogurt, tahini. I was putting tahini in my smoothies every day, and all of a sudden I started gaining weight. So because my body, a Vata, thin skin, is more prone to, more adaptable to, more in harmony with fats in my diet And that's what helps me build. Okay. A kapha, on the other hand, there's a pitta in the middle. A pitta is a little bit heavier, thicker skin, usually shorter, more middle weight or middle fat in the body. That's a pitta in the Ayurvedic philosophy. And a pitta can eat just about anything and be balanced as long as they don't overdo it. And that's the same with any dosha. As long as you don't overdo anything, your weight will stay pretty much the same. I've been at 127 for the longest, and I don't gain or lose too much because I've managed to plan my diet, my food, and all that in a way that I know will keep me balanced and not gain or lose. Kapha, on the other hand, kapha is the thick skin, thick legs, thick arms, thick everything, and their muscles are bigger. I was married to a man who was be considered a kapha. Now they need a lot of greens in their diet. That's what will help them lose weight. For me, as a pit or a vata, greens help me actually lose weight. If I did green smoothies all the time, I'd be losing weight. I got to have some fat in there. Kapha, on the other hand, that's Kapha. They need lots of green food. When they go into eating more fried food, more bread, going to gain weight, going to put belly on them. And my ex, I have to say this because I saw him. I was married to him for almost 40 years, and I saw his belly get bigger and bigger. And he was drinking a lot of sweet drinks from 7-Eleven. He worked the night shift at Delta Airlines a lot. And when he came home at 11 at night, he would stop at 7-Eleven and get a drink to stay awake, basically. No judgment. But he's been a great teacher. I have nothing but respect for my former husband because he taught me so much. Number one, integrity. Man has so much integrity. But today, he's one of those men with the belly hanging over the belt, okay? And I saw the progression when I first met him. He was fairly small, no belly and all that. But the stress of life, not healing your traumas, not working on the emotional reason you're eating. Why are you eating that those chips at night? Because the crunchiness, the salt is soothing to your emotions of frustration, sadness, disappointment. That's why we do tapping. And that's why the show that I did the other day on holotropic breath work is very important to heal the traumas that are causing you to overeat, eat at the wrong time, eat foods that are not helping you gain weight or whatever. And the holotropic breathing is really about just breathing for a longer period of time, being in a position where you're in a meditative state, but you're closing your eyes and you're just concentrating on your breath, bringing oxygen in and out and flowing, letting the rhythm of your breath change, flowing with it, and then having music, meditative music, soothing music, whatever you like, having that nourish your emotions, nourish your nervous system. That's the key, in my opinion, as a coach to helping people who are obese. Now, I could never get my former husband to do all those spiritual, new agey things. Didn't happen. He didn't want to do it. He'd rather sit with the remote and be entertained. That's the mind of a lot of obese people, is that they don't want to get up and move. Because they can't, for one, they're eating the wrong food. They're eating too much bread. They're eating too much sugar. Bread and sugar is what gets any dosha off balance. Okay. So when we think about moving from obesity to slimness, you have to make changes. And even the opposite, if you're too thin and you want to gain, you got to make changes in your life. Again, if you're a vata, you got to have more nut butters, more fat in your diet, yogurt, any kind of fat. And less greens actually in your diet. Kaffa, the thick skinned ones, you need not so much a lot of fruit. If you're eating fruit, you need not the bananas, not kaffa, thick skin, bigger people. You need cranberries, yeah, real, not sweet at all, and berries, cranberry and berry. Queen Afua had a talk one day. If you don't know who Queen Afua is, she's an amazing royal person who teaches about nutrition and health and diet and meditation and all that. And by the way, I saw Shaka Khan in a video. She is so spiritual now. It's like, whoa, go Shaka. Anyway, I digress. But Queen Afua taught she was on the Breakfast Club teaching about diet and food. And she says what most of us, and I say especially if you're overweight, most of us should be having a smoothie with lots of berries and cranberries. That's it. No, mango is too sweet for kaffas. Don't be thinking about mangoes. It's too much sugar. Bananas, nope. All those sweet dates, nope. Until you can get your weight down, you need to concentrate on the berries, which are high in antioxidants and all the other nutrients that will burn the fat. Then there's all kinds of teas out there. I can't even begin to name all the teas that will help burn fat. The key for obesity, to get rid of it, is to burn down the fat. You got to move and you got to eat certain foods to help you burn the fat. And on the other hand, those who are trying to gain weight, they have to eat more fat and do more mild exercises, because a thin person doesn't need to be running a marathon. In fact, the thinner person should be doing more stretching, yoga type exercises, and meditation, and diets that include a lot of fat and not a lot of sugar, because vatas don't do well with sugar. There was a book called Eating for Your Blood Type, which I went through that phase too. I'm a B. I did all that. So there's so many books out there that can teach you how to balance your weight, balance your mind, and especially your heart and your emotions. I feel the obese people out there are struggling with some unhealed traumas, unhealed conflicts, unhealed emotional experiences, where they're using food to comfort and fill the void. Okay. So when we think about no judgment for people walking around with their bellies hanging out over there, they just think of them, they've got a lot of healing that's needed, and it's up to them to choose to work on the healing of the traumas that are causing them to eat for comfort. I say that over and over again. I think majority of people out there are eating for comfort, not nutrition. Eating for nutrition is usually not very satisfying, right? Who wants to eat cranberries? Cranberries are, bleh. They don't have any sweetness, but if you add them to a smoothie with strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, and then add the Monsanto bananas. Now, if you want to add a banana, if they're not very sweet, which is good for most of us, you put one of those little small Monsanto bananas in there, and then just know that this is all about love for yourself. We don't have enough people loving ourselves. And this comes full circle as we've talked about reproductive rights. You're not going to reproduce anything but stress if you don't love yourself more. It really comes down to more love for this temple and nourishing this amazing brain computer. Meditation is the key to me to help having a healthier brain, body, all over. So let me check my Blog Talk Studio. No hands raised. Okay, you guys don't have any questions. I must be hitting all the right thoughts and questions, which is great. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I hope this has been helpful to all of you. And sunshine, again, is another one that we have to incorporate every day, especially while the weather is not freezing cold. And see if I got all the comments. Yes. As Naima said, taking the fear, shame, and guilt out of, and this quote, sin, that's a biggie. The sin, the teaching about sin has put a lot of shame and guilt on people. When in my journey and lessons, sin is about, as they say, missing the mark. We do that every day. How many of us have goals that we don't reach in a daily basis or a weekly basis? But the grace of the universe, the creator says, okay, keep trying, keep trying. No matter how many times you miss the mark, there's always the voice that says, keep trying, don't give up, don't give up. So I want to encourage all of you, don't give up. Don't give up on our children, our youth who are struggling to renew their mind about their rights as reproducing human beings, women. Don't give up. We're in a very important, crucial transition period of going from third dimension chaos, insanity, mental illness. I want to say a lot of people got mental illness these days, which is causing the obesity, which is why they're using abortions as contraceptive instead of erasing that as an option. Can we, here's the question, can we eliminate abortion as an option in our life or a solution in our life? Okay? Because why? The money that's being made on this procedure is crazy. And we're using, not to the glory of the creator who grows these babies in our womb, not to that glory or honor. We're using these babies for science and for money making. Now, some people say, well, we need to have scientific experiments to grow in our knowledge and our what we can do to help people get well. And so that might be a legitimate excuse to stop the growth of a baby in the womb. Might be. I'm not going to judge that. But I'm saying there's a better way. Let's look at the better way. Creating a more harmonious society with the cosmic order of birthing and love, practicing the love that's in our hearts, not confusion, conflict, money, 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 money. I think the whole Planned Parenthood, government's going to take away your rights, blah, 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 is all about money. When you look into who's behind this promotion and propaganda, it's all about making money. People have stock in Planned Parenthood. People have stock in stem cell research. It's all about making money. So can we come out of this mind of money, money, money? Let's make money. It's all about profit, capitalism. Can we come out of that and start teaching this younger generation about the sacredness of the body first, the sacredness of Mother Earth? So stop polluting Mother Earth. Let's honor Mother Earth with growing and eating food from Mother Earth as opposed to processed food from a box that a corporation has made. By the way, I want to, if any of you have ever been using Bragg's vinegar, this just came to me, and I did put this just as part of our education, if I can find it here. Bragg's vinegar was so popular when I was working for the health food store. And now there's been a big shift, and this guy did a short video on it, which I thought was just really interesting to show us how, and it was even happening when I was working in the health food store. This was already happening, that big corporations were buying smaller businesses and diluting the product. Okay, let's see if I can find it. So this guy did a short video on Bragg's why in his store, why he removed this product from the stores. I'm going to show it to you just for sometimes my screen likes to just go blank, but I'm back. I want to just show you this clip about Bragg's vinegar so that we all have to be a lot more conscious about products we've been using, because he really educates us here on why he had to take it out of his store.
Bragg's liquid vinegar from the store. When I opened my store in 1979, one of the mainstays was Bragg's vinegar in the bottle with the mother, made for about 100 plus years. Unbelievable as far as anecdotal, and now research has shown that vinegar had so many health benefits, but we pulled it. We pulled it from the store shelves of the nutritional world. Why is that? They sold out to a capital investment company, and I've been in this industry, like you said, 45 years. 95% of all companies who were homegrown, who built a wonderful business on ethics and fantastic quality, it almost always decreases within the first 2 years of that capital company buying it. And it did with Bragg's. I'm so disappointed. Customers were telling us constantly, it looks different, it tastes different, it's lighter, it doesn't have the same benefit. I wasn't feeling as good. So we've replaced it with two that we know that have the quality at this point. Cadia, we dealt with them for many years, and Soul Spring, which is actually a part of Dr. McCullough's organization.
So I don't know either of those brands are not available in my area, but I do use one called Mother Earth vinegar. It's organic apple cider vinegar, unfiltered with the mother, blah, blah, blah. And I use this every day for my digestion. When I'm eating, especially cooked or processed foods, I put a little cap full of apple cider vinegar with lemon and water, and I sip on that either before I start eating or while I'm eating. I'm sipping on it to get more hydrochloric acid in my stomach to help my digestion. And it seems to be helping, because I don't have the burping or I don't have indigestion at all when I do that. When I don't use the vinegar, and I'm eating a lot of processed or a lot of cooked food, I don't eat processed food as much. But when I'm eating cooked food like rice and beans and all that, if I might have more gas if I don't do the vinegar. So anyway, that's just a little tip I found I wanted to share with you. Bragg's done. Sorry. And I have other Bragg's products that I buy. I don't know if they're the same. I guess it's the same company. I don't know if they're still they've sold out to all their products. If anyone knows, let me know. Okay, so we're at the end of, we got some callers here with their hands up. Let me see. 336-350, your mic is open.
Grand Risings, Dr. V, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I'm AZ. You're on the air.
This is so wonderful. Thank you, and greetings to the family audience. Oh, Dr. V, you are so hooked up. It's freaking unbelievable. That Bragg's Boulevard, I call it, that the vinegar. I brought some with me to take a swig every morning. It's a new bottle, and I can't believe you had that the thing on today, now, because I tasted it yesterday, new bottle, and I'm like, dang, this is weak. It's changed, and that's the truth. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think I'm going to be buying any more Bragg's Boulevard. Bragg's vinegar, but I call it Bragg's Boulevard. They changed it. They diluted it, So I thought that was good information, and thank you. And the next thing that I want to say, your show is awesome. everything that you were saying about the children, what we must do, what would be wise, is on point. We got to do a show featuring the Yaqui tribe, the people here who have been so friendly, how they raise their children, how they incorporate the children in this community, and how they still teach respect. And we've gotten away from that. So that's another show. Thank you. Thank us. Other callers are on. I appreciate you so much. I'll just give thanks.
Love to you too. Yeah, maybe next Wednesday we can do that with the Yaqui tribe. That sounds so fascinating because I'm all about getting back to my Native American culture and lifestyle. So yeah, that sounds like a good idea. We'll talk later. We got another caller here. I believe this is our executive producer, Naima Latif. Your mic is open.
Yes, Grand Rising.
Grand Rising. How are you?
Fantastic. You know, I wanted to make a remark about the history of abortion in the sense of why abortion even happens. And you look at the history of how women were shamed and ostracized and even punished if they got pregnant out of wedlock or they got pregnant while, by someone else's husband, or all kinds of things that were happening. But it was always the woman who was punished. And of course, we know historically there's been countries and cultures that would kill a woman who got pregnant and she was not married. So even in cases of rape, she was blamed if she got pregnant. So the fear of public condemnation, the fear of public shame is what led to women even aborting their children in the first place. So we have to look at where the roots of that come from. The real fear for her life if she was found to be pregnant. So the only answer was to get rid of the evidence, the baby. And there were women, just like there were women who were midwives. There were women who specialized in getting rid of an unwanted baby. But now, as you pointed out, it's become a business. So we haven't even dealt with still the underlying reasons why women are seeking abortion. If you know that as a woman and you get pregnant and you don't have the support of the father in terms of this is what he wanted, and your family perhaps is shaming you, and you know the society isn't going to provide financial care for you, even though you have an infant, there's so much non-love in our society that a mother with a child will not be cared for. That's why we see all these homeless mothers out here. Then that also becomes a reason why a woman decides to end the life of the child. But if we would deal with the causes of the abortion, the absence of love for women, the absence of love for children, the absence of support for women with children who may be going through financial hardship, the shaming of women if they get pregnant and they don't have a husband, all of these things, or even the denial of men who are trying to have families an opportunity to be able to earn what they can so that they can support a family. So shaming people for not having money, shaming people for not being married, shaming people for having sex, and creating so much shame around sex that we don't even teach women about their bodies so that they would know clearly, like you said, when you are fertile, and it's a choice that's made. Until we fix the problem that we created about sexuality and about hurting women once they get pregnant in a situation where we decide they shouldn't have gotten pregnant. Once we fix that problem, and then the way we neglect children who are born to women who don't have financial means, by making them suffer as well. Once we fix that problem, then the abortion question will go away, because there will be no need or perceived need to end the life of the child so that the mother doesn't suffer.
I totally agree. And imagine, Naima, if we could have a roundtable discussion every week about what you just said, the history of it all, the shame of it all, and then come up with preventive wisdom. Because, and I think the prevention has to start in elementary school. We have miseducated our people, period, men and women. The brother in that conversation that I shared, had the black hat on, he had a profound statement later in that interview or that talk, and he said the scare that he had with a woman who was pregnant, that he thought was pregnant, raised his consciousness for the future, that whenever he meets a woman and he gets serious about her, he has to be thinking primarily, do I want to have a family with this woman? That's what changed his thought pattern. Is that the thought that he did not, this woman got pregnant and he was not interested in raising a family with her, or at least he thought she was pregnant, he said. But he said, I wasn't interested in raising a family with her. But that event, that situation brought him to an awareness that he has to be more responsible in the future. So imagine if we could get him to come, excuse me, and share that experience with young people. And that they start in their teens.
It's a simple thing to teach young boys that.
Yes.
And like you say, in grammar school, it's a simple thing to teach. Responsibility, understanding the power of your body to reproduce life. Have responsibility, not just, well, you have sex drive, you can't fix it, get a condom. No, you can make choices based on wisdom. We can just choose to teach wisdom at an earlier age, rather than, like you say, wait till they're in high school and they already having sex, and some of them already have babies. It's way too late. So let's just choose to teach wisdom at an earlier age.
So we have to, and I know you're working on the School of Peace. We have to develop a whole new curriculum on this topic if we're going to eliminate abortion as a contraceptive. Our educational system needs rehauling. And that's why I'm all for getting the federal government out of it, people who have invested in Planned Parenthood, all that, because they're not going to promote or support a new education system that talks preventing and getting rid of abortion. No. Too many people in our government who are all for Planned Parenthood. They're making money. In fact, they're a lobbyist group who is keeping their pockets filled. So this community of conscious people, have to create a whole new curriculum for this new generation, the younger generation, to teach them about responsible sex and preventing pregnancy. That's what I think the topic of the class, and we probably have a full classroom on that one. Responsible sex and preventing pregnancy. That's the new class.
Right. Responsible sex. There you go.
So thank you, Naima. Because that's a lot of history you just covered that we haven't been teaching. And it's like to me, what you just talked about is an ongoing conversation. It's not, we don't end it. It's like once a week at the library or someplace, if not in the schools, we should be having this conversation if we start preventing pregnancy and eliminate abortion as a need for women or men. So thank you so much for sharing that. So we're at the end of it. I didn't even think I was going to go 2 hours. I scheduled it for
90 seconds.
But I'm glad we got all this out, and I hope this has been thought-provoking for all the listeners now and later, that we start having those university kitchen conversations. Kitchen table university conversations, so that we can change the unhealthy, obese society that we live in.
60 seconds.
And bring about more consciousness and more peace and more unity. The reason those Black intelligent people had that conversation, because there's no unity in the Black community. we got, like they said, there's Black people are just supporting Planned Parenthood out of remote, just natural behavior. But man, we got to stop that. We've been genociding our own babies, and now it's time to wake up. So thank you all. Have a good day. Get out and get some sun. It's a beautiful day in Florida. And if you got sun, let's.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jaref. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.
And to all my yogi friends out there, namaste, sadnam, aloha in Hawaii, Maui, Lahaina. You got this. Stand strong, keep your land, and stay conscious. We're praying for you because I want to go back to Maui. Such a beautiful place. Everybody keep smiling, love your neighbors, and teach the youth. Let's keep the youth in our lives and our education circle. Mwah.